Ladies and gentlemen across the galaxy, we're gonna have some fun today. This week has been the lowest point in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes history, with so much uncertainty and lack of communication from the developers. We're gonna kind of mix things up a little bit today. I see a lot of you guys talking about this game, and it kind of pairs in well with what is going wrong with Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes that this game does right. And I'm gonna be giving you guys an overview of all that and more. And that game is the forbidden game of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, Marvel Strike Force. Now, fun fact, about exactly a year ago, I actually started making a couple of videos on this game. I actually created a second channel, created a bunch of different videos on this game, a bunch of beginner guides. And I think it's time more than ever to talk about this game, because right now this game is outperforming Galaxy of Heroes in terms of reviews, in terms of revenue. It's also outperforming Galaxy of Heroes, it looks like, in terms of new downloads. This game is doing better than ever, and Galaxy is kind of at the complete opposite side. So we're going to talk all about this today. We're going to talk about some great things about this game, Sandbox mode. We're going to talk about the amazing communication from the developers. We're going to talk about character viability and balance in this game is insane compared to Galaxy. There's some things that's going to blow your mind in terms of character viability, and no mods in this game just yet. And it seems like when they do add mods, there's going to be no speed. We're going to talk about all that. And as we see, we got two accounts up here. I got a fairly well-built account, and this is an account over on the right that I created just yesterday. I'm going to be making some beginner videos on this channel. As I said, I don't know what's going to go on with Galaxy Heroes. I'm still going to cover it on this channel. Maybe a 50-50 coverage, maybe 75% Galaxy Heroes, 25% Marvel Strike Force. I think now more than ever, it's time to branch out, especially now when I said I'm done spending on Galaxy Heroes until I see some meaningful changes from the developers and actual communication with the Galaxy Heroes community. But I see so many of you guys already playing this game. So many of you guys are downloading this game. And if you're a new player that wants to download, check out the link down below for BlueStacks. It's just a BlueStacks link to download it on your PC and play along with. If you want to start brand new, I'm going to be remaking those beginner account videos I did last year for Marvel Strike Force on my second channel. We're going to be remaking them on this channel, because one, start to branch out. Let's have some fun of other games that are deserving of our love, attention, and money if you want to spend some money. And just to have some more fun, because the beginning part of Marvel Strike Force has definitely changed a little bit since the last time I made beginner videos on the second channel. Spoiler alert, you're going to probably want to go for Guardians first instead of Defenders. We'll talk about that in some beginner videos. But let's talk about some of the big problems that Galaxy of Heroes has that Marvel Strike Force does well. And the first thing I want to put out there right now, you guys may have heard, but we talked a little bit about it in some previous videos. In Marvel Strike Force, we have a sandbox mode, and it's even super free to play for now. I'll explain that in a moment. But what I mean by sandbox mode is you can go ahead, have a friend within your guild, outside your guild, and you can challenge them in a real-time 1v1 sandbox mode. It is brilliant. There are some drawbacks I'll point out in a second, or not drawbacks, some additional features I think they should add, but this was just added about a month ago. And recently, in this real-time sandbox mode PvP with your friends that you can have, they added a functionality where they added balanced PvP, which is basically a setting which will allow you to kind of, let's say, for example, this new account I just created yesterday, hypothetically, it can play against this account that has 3 million collection power. What I mean is they added this functionality so free-to-play beginner players, they can play with more advanced people. All you have to do is get your characters to gear level 9, and in this sandbox mode right here, they will let you play that character at max stats, max gear. That is unheard of. We've never heard of anything like that in Galaxy of Heroes specifically as well. But in this game mode, let's say you're a new player, but you want to play with your friend who's maybe a year or two or a couple months into it, you can play with them. Just get the characters up to gear 9, which you're not going to be able to do day one. You got to level up a bit to reach gear 9, but eventually gear 9 is super easy to access, and both of you can have the same exact gear leveled characters and play against each other. Or you could just play against your individual rosters and not have the same exact geared characters. But the reason why I bring that up is because right now in Galaxy of Heroes, firstly, you need maxed out characters to really use them anywhere. And the second problem is there's nowhere really to test it. As we saw, rest in peace, my other account, when we do a lot of our testing, if like Mando, for example, we need to have a very willing person inside of my arena shard that's willing to swap out teams for me to test things out. And here you got a whole different game mode which allows you to play against your friends, have fun, and test out new characters that come to the game. There are other ways to test out the characters. For example, I mean, this is a hero collector game after all, so just to kind of summarize, you collect heroes not from the Star Wars universe but from the Marvel universe, and there are other game modes you can play them in. We have Blitz, for example, which is kind of the original sandbox mode, where you, as you climb up higher and higher, very much like the tournament system we used to have in Galaxy of Heroes. It's a tower mode if you never played tournaments in Galaxy of Heroes. But the cool thing is you actually fight up against teams out there that are already made. Like, this is a legitimate team. This is a defender team, not a top tier team, kind of like a Phoenix level thing in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So it's a great way to test out my X-Men, for example, up against a couple teams. You can even cycle through, like right here. This is kind of a mishmash looking team right here. And we have more mishmash looking things right here. But the point being is you'll come across some other teams. Like sometimes I'll see mercenaries with Taskmaster, or you might get some legitimate stuff. Maybe you'll get, I don't know, maybe you'll get Thanos with this whole Black Order. You'll just basically be able to test out your characters against a lot of real teams that are out there. And then, of course, you have the Sandbox mode, as I mentioned, where you can actually do a more individualized thing. The problem I have with Sandbox mode, I know developers are listening to this video from Marvel Strike Force. They keep adding new features to the Sandbox mode. I'm sure they'll add it. The only downside to the Sandbox mode right now is that you have to ban each other's characters. So each person takes turns to ban 2 characters. So most likely the top characters like Phoenix or Black Bolt, for example. It'd be great if they added a functionality where you don't have a ban. You could do mirror matches, have same characters. I'm sure they'll add that into the future. Moving on, though, we talked a lot about Sandbox. Well, the best thing about this game as of recent updates is the Sandbox mode. What I want to talk about now is character viability. This is going to blow your minds a little bit. Take it out of your mind that you need to have max stars, max gear, and you have to have only certain characters to play Galaxy Heroes. Point being, right now, Kylo, Rey are the best characters in the game, have the best teams. Probably Luke. Let's not talk about the Luke fiasco. They will also have a very solid team. The problem is you need those characters at max stars, max relics, max gear, and they're the #1 team in Squad Arena, Territory Wars, and Grand Arena, which really leaves no fun to try out other fun characters and other teams. The beauty about this game is you don't need max stars to utilize a character. Furthermore, you don't even need max stars to reach the higher gear. Like, for example, you don't need to have a 7-star Minerva to get the gear 13. You can have a 3-star Minerva to get the gear 13. So low star characters are definitely viable inside of Marvel Strike Force. And furthermore, you don't really need maxed out gear to be viable. Of course, you know, some characters you want to gear up as high as possible, like Black Bolt. Black Bolt, I'd say, is arguably the best, one of the best characters inside of Marvel Strike Force right now. Of course, a character like this, you're going to want to have at the maximum level. But the point being, well, firstly, low stars are viable, low gear is viable. But furthermore, this is going to blow your minds even more. Almost every single one of these characters has a use somewhere. There is really no one team that dominates it all inside of Marvel Strike Force. And this is the thing that blows people's mind, because we're used to, you know, you got to have Kylo or Rey to be the #1 in every single game mode. Here, it's not the case. Imagine what we used to have way back when. Where there would be some territory war bonuses, for example, and Mace Windu was a top tier character to use inside of territory wars and Galaxy Heroes, but he wouldn't be good in Grand Arena or, for example, Squad Arena. We don't have that in Galaxy Heroes. And here you're gonna have some teams that are top tier in certain game modes, and you're gonna have some teams that those teams are not gonna be top tier in other game modes. Characters like Coulson, he's great inside of the territory wars in this game, which is called Alliance Wars. So almost any character you gear up in this game, they're going to be useful somewhere. Whether they're going to be the #1 team to be using inside of the arena, whether they're going to be a solid team to use in Blitz, whether they're going to be a solid team to use in Alliance Wars, the Raids, Dark Dimension, character viability and balance is through the roof. And there's just so much diversity in terms of characters. Imagine being able to use your Darth Vader being the #1 character to use inside of Territory Wars, that maybe he's not so great inside of Arena or Grand Arena. We don't have that in Galaxy Heroes. Here, that is the case. The point being, a character you gear up, they're going to be useful. There's not a lot of characters that aren't, like, useful anywhere. There's a handful, but for the most part, all these characters are useful somewhere inside of Marvel Strike Force. Moving on beyond character viability, communication. We know Galaxy Heroes is having a hard time with communication, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably the biggest thing right now. We're not bringing the drama in here today. We're having a good time. I want to talk about a game I'm passionate about. I think that's deserving of our attention and our free time, because we have a lot of free time in Galaxy of Heroes. They communicate so much with their community. Firstly, they have a Discord server. I'll leave a link down below with that BlueStacks link, so you can access this Discord server. Developers post stuff in here. There's news. There's a whole general chat. You can find alliances to join in here, tips, tricks. I wish Galaxy of Heroes had a Discord server. It goes a long way for a game to have something of that sort. And furthermore, they have a forum that's kept up quite frequently. We have a community manager that is very engaged with their community. He even has a YouTube channel for Marvel Strike Force and does a lot of community-based videos that kind of gets the community involved. We don't have that in Galaxy Heroes, and just in-game communication is through the roof. Their forum page communication is through the roof. It's actually funny. I don't think there's any, maybe there's not a lot of response from Marvel Strike Force to Galaxy Heroes, but one of the top things on Reddit for Galaxy Heroes was Marvel Strike Force this week addressing how they are hard on cheaters, and cheaters will not be given any forgiveness in this game. There was a notification post inside of Marvel Strike Force. We have yet to hear anything from Galaxy Heroes in regards to cheating. And another example, a mobile gamer, he streams on Twitch. One day there was a bug, and he reached out to a developer, and in 10 minutes, the developer, first off, responded very quickly, and they fixed the game in 10 minutes to fix a certain bug that happened while he was streaming. It's unheard of in Galaxy Heroes. So communication is huge. I put it in the middle of the list here, but really, it is pretty big. Communication goes a long way. This community, or this studio, you can feel they care about the community. They try to do their best to make the community happy. And I mean, they give out a lot of stuff. Like the daily rewards are amazing in this game. The daily calendar rewards, there's just so much that they offer inside this game. And a lot of freebies that happens inside of Marvel Strike Force as well. So that kind of, we'll leave it there. And two more things to talk about that I think Galaxy Heroes is kind of behind the ball on. Mods. It kind of maybe goes in our conversation of character viability. But right now in Marvel Strike Force, there is no mods. Now, there's been a discussion of mods called ISO8, which they've been talking about for months. But one thing they have said publicly to the community is when they do add ISO8, there will not be any speed associated with mods, and that is huge. Speed is way too important in Galaxy Heroes. One speed off, and your character loses so much viability compared to an opposing team that might have one more speed more than you. So whenever they do add ISO8 mods inside of Marvel Strike Force, there's not gonna be any speed. Of course, some other stat might be more, might be the meta stat, offense, protection, whatever the case might be, but no speed makes getting mods a lot less stressful, because right now it's just too much of a casino inside of a Galaxy Heroes, and your character is not going to be as viable without the appropriate speed on those characters. Big highlight right there. And I think they're really looking at Galaxy of Heroes mods and trying to avoid everything that's wrong with Galaxy of Heroes mods, and they're going to try to make it better inside of Marvel Strike Force. And really, I mean, those are kind of the main issues right now with Galaxy Heroes community. Not a lot of places to play your characters. Really no meaningful content. New characters that come to the game you can't really use anymore. This is just a minor point that I really like about Marvel Strike Force. Among all those other points that we mentioned today, artwork in this game is just vastly superior compared to Galaxy Heroes. Now, some people don't care about it, but right now with Marvel Strike Force, Raid Shadow Legends outperforming Galaxy Heroes by a lot of metrics. Just pointing out the art, that's like another thing that this game has over Galaxy Heroes. When you play the game, I don't know if we have time in this video to do some gameplay. We're going to do plenty of videos in the future, but you may have seen some of the videos I made in the past if you haven't seen Marvel Strike Force before. The gameplay there is amazing. The animations, every character's got special animations, cinematic looking animations, that final killing abilities. It's great. Little details like that go a long way, whereas we get Potato Ray in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. They put a lot of detail inside of their characters. And really, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up right there. We are going to be having some beginner videos coming out soon. Over to the right-hand side again, I just created this account on the right literally just yesterday to try to start over again, because the beginning game has changed a little bit since the last time I made a bunch of videos. And furthermore, they kind of added a sort of a hyperdrive bundle type of functionality, which is interesting. It's not as powerful as the hyperdrive bundle, but they definitely help you get access to a lot of highly desired characters like Cyclops very early in the game. So if you're a new player that wants to get some more advice, be sure to stay tuned to the channel. We're still going to cover Galaxy of Heroes, but I think this game definitely deserves our attention. If you play Galaxy Heroes, you're going to feel at home playing this game, especially if you love Marvel. I mean, really, both games are kind of similar, but at the end of the day, Marvel Strike Force is winning in so many areas that Galaxy Heroes is falling behind. I still love Galaxy Heroes, don't get me wrong. It's got a lot of stuff to fix, but Marvel Strike Force, I think it's going to be fun to cover some videos on Marvel Strike Force while we're waiting. And of course, you know, Galaxy Heroes is ahead in some things. I do think that we have better cinematic raids inside of Galaxy Heroes. For example, the Sith raid, you kind of have the cool cinematics of Trey and Niles. They have raids in Marvel Strike Force, but they're not really cinematic as much. And they definitely, the legendary events in Galaxy Heroes, well, excluding Galactic Legends, are definitely of higher quality, I think, in terms of the actual enjoyment of playing the event. Compared to Marvel Strike Force. So really, I mean, Galaxy is not saying it's a horrible game. I still love Galaxy Heroes. I love Star Wars a little bit more than Marvel, but I do love Marvel quite a lot, and I think it's going to be fun. to cover this game. Hopefully you guys had fun. I think it's a nice change of pace for the channel, especially after this week of what we've been seeing. A game that really cares about their community. So I would love to hear you guys and your thoughts. Like if you did enjoy the video. Comment down below if you're playing Marvel Strike Force. What are your thoughts that you want to share with the Galaxy of Heroes community? And if you're a new player, don't worry. We got some more beginner videos coming. And be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And Gary, roll out the outro. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everyone. Gary, come on. Roll it out, baby. There we go.